Okay, guys. Welcome in, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well on this lovely Tuesday. I had to think about what day it was for a minute. All right, let me make sure we got everything up and running here. Everybody is where they need to be. Welcome in on the Facebook, on the Tube, and here on TikTok, guys. We are live from all three platforms. I appreciate y'all for being here. We're going to be on here for majority of the day today, kind of talking about the updates that happen here with Tropical Storm Francine. Still a tropical storm, expected to become a hurricane here very soon. There was a dry air intrusion that happened overnight, which kind of helped this from becoming a hurricane quicker, but this is still forecasted to become a Cat 1 hurricane, possibly still approach Cat 2 status. We're kind of waiting to see if this is going to undergo some rapid intensification. Now, the 11 o'clock advisory, as of right now, we're going to be getting in the 1 o'clock advisory here very soon, but the 11 o'clock advisory still had this at 65 mile an hour winds, maximum wind gust, 2 hurricane force, and pressure at 988. So this is still kind of going. You can actually see a little bit of dry air still coming off of Mexico here that's filing into this here to help it basically become still kind of weak. So the further northeast that this tracks away from Mexico, the more this will start to intensify. It will start to interact with a little bit of shear on tomorrow afternoon before it makes landfall. But other than that, this still is expected to become a hurricane and work its way east-northeast. So very pronounced comma-shaped storm here. We can actually see, like I said, that intensification happening here very closely. Now, there are showers and storms that are working their way into Louisiana. These were associated with this storm yesterday. These actually kind of detached itself from the storm, and it's actually moving its way northeast. So, like I said, we're going to be monitoring the situation for you guys all day today. This cone has shifted east. So yesterday we were talking about pretty much a lot of Lafayette, Lake Charles in the cone. There still is, though, tropical storm watches over here from Houston, Victoria, Corpus Christi, down into Galveston for the fact just in case it were to shift west again. But this is shifting more east, so it puts New Orleans more favorable for tornadoes. Obviously the worst of the impacts are going to be here in like the Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Convent area here, Huma, Jackson, New Roads, and then eventually this will go up into Jackson. Now we are going to get the newest advisory here very soon. I'm just kind of waiting for that official word to come in from the National Hurricane Center. That will be the 2 o'clock advisory. We are going to have a tornado risk with this, so we'll talk about that here in just a minute as well. Just trying to check and see if we've got any air recon on the way yet. Not seeing anything quite yet so far. We'll go back to some of these air recon maps. See what we've got working with here. They still got a 989 pressure reading, but there is still a pretty significant chance for, not chance for, but the idea here that we're seeing close to hurricane force winds. I couldn't get the words out of my mouth, guys. So models still do have the potential for a Cat 2 to happen. The forecast track does not. So we're just going to kind of wait and see what happens. But pressure is still dropping, I believe. I'm very interested to see what the next advisory is going to be. But I'm going to leave this up here on the screen and check a couple things. Like I said, guys, we're going to be on here all day today kind of talking about what's going to be happening. I'm going to try not to run myself into the ground before tomorrow gets here because we're going to be on all day tomorrow for you guys, starting bright and early tomorrow morning. And then we'll be on throughout the day until landfall and then past landfall. So let me run through a couple of things here. Oh my goodness gracious. I need to send this out as well. Hold on a second. You guys will tap the screen for me, please, here on TikTok. I appreciate it. And on the other areas, send the love out. I appreciate it. Alright, Corvette, thank you for the gift. I appreciate you, bud. Thank you. Good to see you in here. For the rave dance, I appreciate it. Appreciate what you were doing. I saw you earlier on live stream. Letting people know what's going on. I appreciate it. I'm gonna send out. I cannot spell today, guys, for the love of anything. It's like yesterday. I couldn't spell anything on in my homework assignments either. Okay. I had to send it out on my other Facebook. Make sure we get the word out to people. All right, Ariel, welcome in. Emily, good to see you guys in here. All my mods over on all three. I appreciate you guys. Cora Rowe, everybody else. If I miss y'all, I'm sorry, but we're all this is gonna be a good thing here. What we're doing, I really appreciate y'all for being here. Let me check here, make sure I have my thing sent out. Oh, maybe. Okay. So if anybody has questions kind of about their areas, we're going to answer questions throughout the day today. We're waiting, like I said, waiting on the most newest advisory to come in here for you guys. See what the European model's up to with this update. Yep, so the euro still has this dropping down to 980 and then kind of ooh, that's new on the European. Hold on a second. I want to take a look at this for a second. Let me see if we can get a little bit closer. I don't like that. I guess we'll just go local with it here. So this is interesting. On the European model run that just updated, they have a 978 at landfall, so they don't have this weakening on the European model run, this was supposed to go through a weakening process before landfall. So 978 would put this 10 millibars lower than what it is now. Believe this is going to still undergo some potential rapid intensification here. Let's go back here on this run and look at this one. Yep, so they go 983, 984, 979, 988. So that would be a 10 millibar drop right before landfall. So the European has a strengthening all the way up until landfall happens. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. We're watching the Hurricane Hunters as well. They're flying back into this here. They're still getting pressure readings of 989 consistently. So the storm has got, like I said, a little bit of dry air intrusion with it here. We're going to have to see if this, in fact, transitions to a hurricane. I think we'll still have a tropical storm with the next update here in about 15 minutes. And then we'll probably have a hurricane by the 5 o'clock this afternoon. That is the thought process. So we're going to watch this thing kind of undergo that rapid intensification process. But this is a very, very symmetrical, almost looking storm here. You can actually see those outer bands on the northwestern side of the eye wall here really getting going, meaning that this is starting to move away from that dry air that is coming off the coast of Mexico here. The further north, like I said, that this travels, the better chance that this is going to have of intensifying. And like I said, this is going to be, what helps intensify this storm. It's the ocean waters. There's actually shear on the northern side of this, or the western side of this. It's actually helping interact with this to potentially either weaken it or strengthen it if the shear is coming out of the same direction as well. So there's a lot of things that we're watching here with this trajectory and where this forecast is going here. I'm just trying to give you guys the best updates we can here. I'm looking at some other things as well, making sure that we are on the same page with everything here. Okay, so it is on a northeasterly track now, is what it's showing. So this is going to start to steer towards Louisiana now. We are no longer seeing that northern track, so this should stay. We might see that cone potentially wobble just a little bit further east on the next update, potentially. Question mark. I'm very interested to see what in fact happens. I wonder when they're going to actually send another as well. We do have risk zones for severe weather today. Tornado risk, 2% tornado risk back here in New Orleans today. And then tomorrow, they did expand the 2% and 5% tornado risk all the way up into Jackson, or almost outside of Jackson, Mississippi. So we got a 5% tor and a 2% tor tomorrow for tornadoes, tropical tornadoes. And these are actually going to start overnight tonight and work their way through tomorrow, where they'll become a little bit more worse with that. Rochelle, see you there in Louisiana. If you are, I'm assuming you're staying, and not going anywhere. So be very, very mindful of water levels, wind, the tornado threat. Like I said, we're going to be on here pretty much all day today talking about this. We're going to be on here all day tomorrow covering this, and then on to Thursday as well. So you guys will probably be relatively tired of hearing my voice when this week is over with. I'm just waiting, like I said, for that new official update to come in from NHC and see what we're looking at. It is officially in. So the 1 o'clock advisory still got this sustained at 65-mile-an-hour winds. So this is not a hurricane. Expected to become a hurricane this afternoon or tonight. Francine now moving northeastward across the western Gulf of Mexico. So this is going to tap into those very warm waters. We'll see this official cone track update here in just a few minutes as well. But that 1 o'clock advisory is in, like I said, 988 millibar low, 65-mile-an-hour winds sustained and moving northeast at 9 miles an hour. Location 25.3 degrees north, 95.2 degrees west longitude latitude. So that is where we are at with this currently right now, guys. Like I said, we'll get that official cone track update. Storm surge totals still consistent where we're at here, 5 to 10 feet for the Vermilion Bay area over towards the Port Fortune, over here as well toward the Point Alahak, I guess that's how you say it, or Alahak. I'm going to probably say that wrong multiple times, but that is over here along the Mississippi-Louisiana line, 3 to 5 feet of storm surge, and then 4 to 7 feet up, again, the New Orleans area. So, oh, buddy boy, guys. This is definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with this. If you guys will tap the screen for me, please. I know we don't got a lot of people in here. It might also be the fact that we are kind of going from different places here, so just kind of bear with it. We may have people, we may not have a lot of people. We'll just kind of see what happens. I do appreciate y'all for being here, though, if you guys are in here. Look at these rainfall totals again. Oh, this hasn't even updated yet. We'll wait for it to update. This is definitely going to be an interesting forecast tweak once this does get updated. I'm very interested to see what happens over the next 3 to 4 hours. With this storm specifically, like I said, we're really starting to see a lot more convection on that northern side because it is, like I said, moving away from the dry air. So seeing how this develops between now and 5 o'clock this afternoon will be interesting to watch. We'll look at some of these model ensembles here in just a minute. I want to make sure that this cone updates. So I can get you guys that information to do a cone update with this. All right. Not seeing anything. Gonna take a little bit of time for this to come in. Your thoughts of Mississippi? Mississippi's gonna have a pretty big tornado risk, I think. You'll see some flash flooding, and then some tropical storm force winds starting tomorrow night into Thursday. Pretty much throughout the day on Thursday, and this will lift north, and then you guys should be out of it. Depending on where you're at in Mississippi. Gonna be the question mark on this. Waiting for this track to update. So, like I said, watching to see, I'm very interested to see what the next hurricane recon data is going to show once they go out there again. Hammond, that's going to be a spot, Rachel, to watch for sure. Hammond, you guys actually have the radar site up here as well near you. You're on that dirty side, and that means the hurricane force winds that'll potentially settle in, or tropical storm force winds mostly, and then you'll have the heavy rain, you'll have the tornado threat. It's if you're on the eastern side of the low here, and I'm very interested to see if this does shift, but this area right here specifically is going to be where the dirty side is going to be, and it's not going to be fun watching that. It's not going to be fun at all. See if we've got a track update on. Still nothing yet on the update. Yep, no problem, guys. Tap that screen for me, guys. Share out the live. I really appreciate y'all for being here. We're just trying to figure out what we're gonna be looking at here. Blood risk still at a moderate, slight risk, and marginal. Just waiting for this track to update. What's so crazy is we're literally like 24 hours away from landfall, which is going to be tomorrow at this time frame, roughly. Ow. Oh, no problem, Gunner. Absolutely, bud. That is our goal here, bud. We'll be on here for probably tomorrow. Will probably be a 24-hour stream. It really will be. I'm gonna try to drink enough water, keep myself up, and not losing my voice before tomorrow gets here. I believe we have. Good, Cynthia. That's good. That's good to see. I'm glad that it if it meets people's different standards as far as being able to watch, so that makes me feel good. Rachel, it'll probably be before then. I think it is going to be before then, and that's just kind of my thought process on it. There's the 1 o'clock advisory. Yeah, landfall would be right between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. tomorrow. Still having this as a hurricane. This is expected to become a hurricane on the next advisory. Go back to... There it is. Yeah, this is expected to become a hurricane tonight. I do still think that we will hit... Between tomorrow morning and lunchtime, I think we'll hit Cat 2 status, potentially here. We'll have to wait and see what this does. But this is expected to become a hurricane in the next 6 hours. So we will see if we, in fact, meet that threshold with that. Gunnar as well, thank you for the heart me. I appreciate it. What do you think the risk will be for Kentucky, especially the weekend? So Kentucky, we're up here with that as well. We are actually in the cone over here in Western Kentucky. Central and Eastern, you'll see some rain. I wouldn't be too worried about anything right now, but the low pressure center is actually going to track to the west of us, which puts us on that dirty side, which technically would mean a couple severe weather chances for tornadoes, the heavy rainfall, if there is any. Depending on what this looks like tomorrow, Peyton, I can answer that question a little bit better. But I would prepare for about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, maybe less than that, and then maybe a brief tornado or two. It's going to be up in the air right now with Kentucky. There's a lot we still got to figure out with this system here. Tabby, good to see you in here. Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate it. So like I said, guys, the 1 o'clock advisory in here, 65 mile an hour sustained winds, maximum wind gust to 75, pressure down to 988 millibars. This is expected to become Hurricane Francine by the 5 o'clock advisory tonight. You can see this going through intensification as we speak already starting to notice, like I said, that closure of that northwestern side of the eye wall here, and that does in fact indicate that we are seeing strengthening. So when the hurricane hunters go back out there this afternoon, we will start to get live pressure readings. If we see pressure drop below 988, then we can kind of have that mindset of, hey, like this is gonna be a hurricane at that point. So we might even have close to hurricane status soon here, but we'll have to wait on that. For my people that are in Louisiana, at this point, that cone did shift still east. It does put New Orleans on the dirty side, Baton Rouge on the dirty side, Jackson, Mississippi on that side, and then up here into Tennessee and into the Ohio Valley later on in the half of the week. So we are seeing a pretty big convergence of moisture here that is working its way into Louisiana and Mississippi. These are not associated with Tropical Storm Francine. These are just outer convection that's going on here in the ocean. The tropical storm is still down here, so this will start to meander its way northeast over the next couple of hours. Like I said, hurricane status will be reached by tonight, more than likely. We'll go back to this advisory here for you guys. Let me double check and make sure that I've got this pulled up the right way. I want to pull it up. There we go. We have updated map totals yet. Peak storm surge is still the same. Flooding potential is still the same, and the rainfall totals are still the same. So 8 to 12 inches of rainfall, New Orleans as well. Let's go look at the map. Let's just kind of talk about what this is going to look like. So you guys can see, like I said, satellite imagery, yeah, it's a little bit gritty right now. And that's, like I said, because of that dry air intrusion coming in. But really want to watch that northwestern side, because if this low closes up quicker, we might have a hurricane before the advisory potentially already gets issued. So we'll have to wait on that and see. Florida, believe it or not, is going to see effects from this. I know, I think it's crazy, guys, but Florida will see effects from this. You guys actually have the chance to see maybe an isolated tornado up here into Panama City. The Apalachicola area could see. So this is how far our storm is from Florida. It is well over here into the Gulf of Mexico. Florida is going to see impacts from this. Like I said, it blows my mind that Florida is going to see impacts from this, but this storm is basically, once it gets closer to Louisiana tomorrow, that wind field is going to kind of expand out once it starts to interact with land, and we're going to see this storm basically develop waterspout supercells that are going to work their way towards Mississippi, Alabama, and the panhandle of Florida, and potentially we could have a tornado risk as far as Tallahassee tomorrow. I think that's definitely going to be a possibility over the next little bit of time. Here's that radar, picking up the radar here out of the Brownsville, Texas area, and you can see the spin already. Like I said, very close to hurricane status here. We're just going to have to wait for that official advisory to come in later on this afternoon. Now, there's a little bit of model discrepancy with the thought process of this. Let's go look at the NAM 3K and just kind of see what we're looking at here with the NAM. The NAM is still, I believe, wobbling this to the west a little bit. I'll double check here. Yeah. So the NAM does have a hurricane by tonight. You guys can see the wobble. It does stay on that center track, but the NAM, I believe, shifts it. Okay, so the NAM takes it a little bit further west, which would be, you know, putting Lafayette, Baton Rouge into that. And here's the biggest threat. So this is going to be, landfall, like I said, is going to be after 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But these impacts, guys, like they start tonight. We'll start to see the rain move in tonight. Those outer bands, let's stop this around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll stop it right here. So what we're looking at here is outer bands as far as Jacksonville and Gainesville, Florida. So this is not technically associated with quote-unquote Francine, but it's moisture that's being pulled in from Francine. So technically you can call it Francine if you want to. I don't know how you guys want to interpret that. But the biggest question is going to be what happens tomorrow morning. So, you know, we're going to have more than likely a strong Cat 1 hurricane tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. once this is, you know, working its way closer to Louisiana. These outer bands will start to move in. That tornado threat will start to ramp up. I really think that tornadoes are going to be a pretty big problem, especially as we go towards tomorrow night and tomorrow afternoon once these, you know, officially makes landfall. Then we have to watch this. This is going to be through Thursday morning. Pensacola, Mobile, Alabama. The bulk of the moisture is up here in the parts of Arkansas, Mississippi, and western Tennessee. And there's your biggest tornado threat. And that's going to be still back down here into parts of Alabama, coming into parts of Florida here, and then eventually into Tennessee as we go into part of your Thursday afternoon and Friday morning. So let me, guys, by the way, for my people, my mods that are on TikTok here, I'm not able to actually physically mute or boot people, so you guys will have to stay on top of that for me because I'm not using the actual studios thing because I'm doing it through something else. So you guys will have to mute comments and boot comments for me if you guys see anything. So please help me pay attention to that if you guys can. Also, if I've got anybody in either of the chats that would like to join our weather team, there is an application that is in my bio on my website, my official Mesomat weather website. There's also merch, guys. Go check out the merch as well on there. Super, super cool stuff. But if you want to join the team, go fill that application out and we'll get you guys set up to potentially join the team here. So there's a lot of roles to fill. We've got about 30 people that do the behind the scenes stuff and help in stream. So if you guys would like to join a part of that, please, 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 please put in an application. Good to see you here, Chris, as well. But yeah, guys, it's really just watching what's going to happen here over the next couple of hours. And, you know, it could go crazy. It could be what it's forecasted to be. It could undermine the forecast. There's a lot of things that we've still got to figure out with how this is going to progress over the next 12 to 24 hours. Now, let me look at these tornado parameters quick. I'm just curious on something. So like the NAM goes really hard with these tor parameters tomorrow afternoon, and then moves these into parts of Alabama and Mississippi. So I'll have to watch that. We've also going to have some severe weather ongoing in the plains as well as 2 other tropical systems that we're kind of watching. Let's go look at what are the tropical models showing? Yes, I did, Cynthia. I did see that. All right. Let's go back here. Bear with me here, guys. We love technology. It's awesome. Yeah, it is now moving east-northeast. It's no longer moving northwest. It's moving east-northeast as of the latest advisory. Here is what the models have. Here's an example of the HWRF model run. So this one's got a pretty slam-packed center of circulation. Yeah, Cecilia, it's gonna be rough here. We're in Western Kentucky here as well, so it's definitely gonna be. That's fine, Ryan Rowe. You're good, guys. It's definitely gonna be something we have to watch. Is this system gonna stay intact, or is it gonna fall apart once it comes inland? That's gonna be the biggest thing. We are gonna see weakening as soon as landfall basically happens. Dr. Jeffrey, thank you for the rose. Good to see you, bud. But yeah, we're definitely going to see the impacts as far as the Ohio Valley, especially as we get into Thursday and Friday. I mean, look at this. I mean, this brings all of this. This is worst case scenario. I don't like to see this because then you've got the low pressure center to the west. You've got the dirty side over here, and this is where your biggest tornado risk is going to be at on Thursday night into Friday. So, yeah, what's going to happen, guys, once this goes inland is still something we're trying to figure out. We do know we're gaining more and more confidence on the fact of what could happen, but I'm not really going to talk too much about that yet. Just the rain's going to be a problem. The tornado threat is something we're still going to have to wait to see. Babe, we might get put in a 2% tornado risk for Friday once this updates. We'll just kind of have to see, or for Thursday, we'll just have to see what it does. Schools closed in Louisiana. Absolutely, they should be closed in Louisiana. There is no doubt in my mind that they should be closed for sure. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go back here. I want to look at satellite again for a second. The only thing that's going to keep this storm from becoming a hurricane is dry air intrusion. And there is still dry air intrusion, but like I said, I'm still noticing kind of a pocket here, or what's the word I'm trying to think of, a ring of convection that's kind of flaring up around this. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens this afternoon on the storm. Because the more further northeast that this goes, the better the conditions are in the Atlantic Ocean, the lesser chance that there is of dry air being a problem. But once we get up here into Louisiana, there's a little bit of shear that could help basically kind of erode this a little bit, which would be a good thing. I'm just trying to figure out what this is going to happen. Guys, I'm going to tell you guys, as a weather nerd and a future meteorologist here, I absolutely love, I love tropical weather because of what's on your screen right now. I love to sit here and stare at satellite imagery of hurricanes and tropical storms. I don't know what it is to me. One, I don't like people being impacted. That's not what it is. But I like the idea of just how symmetrical it looks and just watching these things, how the lifespan of these storms kind of go. It's very, very much interesting to me. So that's just me nerding out for a minute for you guys. I don't think anybody needs to leave. I think it's going to be okay. As long as you're boarded up, have supplies for 5+ days, and you're ready to go. I think you're going to be fine in Louisiana, especially. Now, the only parish that I know of, there's 4 parishes that believe mandatory evac, and that was Cameron and then 3 others. I don't have them off the top of my head. But it's something we're going to have to watch. So the latest hurricane models are still on track for a Cat 2 upgrade. So I want to explain something to you guys, okay? For my Louisiana and Texas people, Gulf Coast people, you guys understand how this works. You guys kind of understand. You guys have had storms in the past have done this, but we have the term called rapid intensification. You guys, if you guys don't know what rapid intensification is, it's basically when a storm undergoes rapid intensification. It basically, the wind field increases. I believe it's 25 miles an hour more in a 24-hour or less than period. So basically, right now we're sitting at 65 mile an hour wind status. This is expected by around this time tomorrow to be at 85 to 90 mile an hour winds. So that would be right at 20 to 25 mile an hour winds technically. Now, there's a lot of models still out there that show this coming a Cat 2 hurricane. The latest advisory at the 10 o'clock this morning bumped this down from a Cat 2 to a Cat 1 at landfall because of the fact that this storm has taken a little bit longer to become a hurricane. there is still a lot of models, and there still is a good chance this does reach Category 2 hurricane status before it makes landfall. I know it's not projected in the intensity forecast, and you guys don't see that on the screen, but there is a lot of stuff behind the scenes that could, happen if this storm were to undergo a situation like that. So especially, like I said, between now and landfall tomorrow night around 6 p.m. is what the time frame of this is going to be, roughly. This is that intense period where I think things are going to start to get a little bit interesting. So are we going to have dry air intrusion continue to keep this, well disorganized as far as becoming a hurricane? Or is this going to undergo that process? Like I said, the next 5 to 6 hours here is going to really tell the story on what we officially see here with this. Landfall is going to be around between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. tomorrow. The latest track on this has this coming inland around, I said, that 4 to 6 p.m. time frame, and this is going to be around the Morgan City and Patterson area here in Louisiana. So if you are not in the cone, you're going to still get impacts from this, especially on the eastern side over here into parts of Mississippi, Alabama. If you live in Gulfport, I'm going to basically circle these areas right here. If you're in the area that I have circled, Tallahassee, Apalachicola, Panama City, Pensacola, Mobile, Gulfport, Montgomery, you're not in that cone, but you are on the dirty side of the storm, meaning that wind field is going to expand out once the storm officially makes landfall because the low pressure center kind of collapses a little bit because it's no longer over ocean waters. We're going to see that wind field expand out, that tornado risk is going to ramp up, and we're going to see rainfall in those areas that are east of the cone. Now, if you are west of the cone, you might see some rainfall, but as far as and a little bit of wind, but I don't think the western side is going to be as crazy as the eastern side is going to be. It's always that eastern side that you look for. You have winds that change from the southwest to the northwest as well once they turn around the storm. So that southwesterly flow to northeasterly flow is going to create that lift, and I do think we're going to have a pretty good amount of tornado warnings to get issued throughout the day tonight and through tomorrow especially. I think we could have, Beryl ended up actually producing a pretty significant outbreak for Louisiana. We had over 100 tornado warnings issued in Louisiana on the first day that Beryl made landfall. I don't think we're going to have that kind of a situation, but I do think we could see roughly between 30, maybe 45 something tornado warnings issued tomorrow across the state of Louisiana. So this is something we're really, really, really going to have to watch for you guys. And like I said, we're going to be on here for the rest of the day today, talking to you guys, walking you guys through this. And then we're going to be on here starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we will be on here all day long tomorrow, giving you guys watches, warnings, coverage, all that stuff you guys need for safety to keep you guys updated on the situation ongoing. So, we'll be here all day with you guys, basically. You guys will be tired of basically hearing my voice at some point in time. So, if you guys do have questions on areas, I will start to answer those. We're just kind of in that period. We're just waiting to see what's going to happen with this. Erica says, is the path going to change anymore? As of right now, if it shifted anywhere, it would go a little bit further east, just potentially. But I think we're pretty in good alignment where it's going to go, and that's going to be between Lafayette and New Orleans. So, no, it's not shifting west. It's on a northeasterly track right now. It actually shifted east this morning substantially. The cone at the 8 o'clock advisory this morning moved east about 15 miles. So very, very much something we're going to have to watch. I do think the worst of the impacts, like I said, are going to be along the Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Covenant into Morgan City. I think Morgan City is going to get hit pretty hard. And then you also have to talk about as well here, the Bay areas here that onshore flow storm surge is going to be wrapping around all of the Bay areas here. We could have anywhere from 5 to 10 feet of storm surge. So it's gonna be a long day, guys. Tomorrow is gonna be an extremely long day for a lot of people. I know it's not a major hurricane, and a lot of people don't leave or take these storms seriously unless it's a Cat 3 or higher. But these Category 1 and Category 2 storms can do damage, guys. We've seen low-end hurricanes do catastrophic damage. So it's the storm surge that really is going to be a problem. Category 4 Hurricane Laura back in 2020 caused 10 feet of storm surge in the Cameron and Morgan City areas, I believe, and they had just devastating flooding and damage done just with the storm surge itself. So we're going to be having the 5 to 10 foot storm surge areas. We're going to have the heavy rainfall on top of that. We're going to have the winds. We're going to have the tornadoes. The best thing out of this whole entire situation that I could probably give you guys is going to be the idea of the fact that this storm does not linger for 12 plus hours. It's going to be moving relatively quickly off to the north once it makes landfall tomorrow night. So that's probably the best case scenario. I'm glad that we're not stuck between two different surface fronts or pressures or any scenario that would keep this thing stalled out. It's very, very good news as far as the overall potential for this storm goes down the road. So what program do I use? I use Radar Omega. It's a great weather app if you guys do not have it. Super, super good stuff. So that is going to be the plan, guys. Guys got questions on locations, anything, we're here to answer it. Today is more of a question day, while we don't have anything super, super crazy going on. If I've got anybody in the chats on all 3 platforms here, and you guys want to join my weather team, feel free to put the application in. It is linked in my bio on all 3 platforms here. We're live here on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok right now at the same time. Feel free to put those in, guys. We want people to join our weather team. If you're a storm chaser, legitimately, and you want to, you want to chase for us as far as that goes, feel free to put that in. If you want to be a mod for the streams, if you want to be, on anything with the team here, feel free to put those apps in. We want people to join the team and learn about the weather. Conbor, it is Radar Omega. It's just a weather app you can get on your phone. It's a radar app, basically. It's one of the best ones out there. You do have to pay for it. It's worth the $10. It really is worth the $10. I absolutely love it. You think flights out of New Orleans will resume to normal Friday morning? Friday morning, yeah. New Orleans should be fine. I think New Orleans should be fine as far as potentially Thursday night, maybe. So, for all of my Louisiana people in here, you guys are going to be okay. We're going to get you guys through this. We're going to be, like I said, we're going to be live all day today, all day tomorrow. We're going to be giving you guys weather coverage. We're going to be covering the tornado warnings that happen, the flooding, all of that. I'm going to try and get pictures and stuff put up for you guys as they're kind of sent in. If you guys want to do me a huge favor in here as well, if you've not hit that follow button, hit that follow button. Go over to the other platforms as well and subscribe and follow on there as well. That way we can get you guys updated over there as well for other stuff that happens. But if you guys have pictures, feel free, especially on Facebook, send them to me on Facebook, and I will put them up on the stream while we're streaming tomorrow. So feel free to send me into those as well. That would be super, super, super awesome. Yeah, 7 to 10 feet roughly in the lower parishes. Yeah, absolutely on that. Lafayette, yes, you should be prepared for storm surge, 7 to 10 inches of rainfall possibly, and hurricane force winds. So, Baton Rouge, you're on that dirty side as well. If you are anywhere on the eastern side, the quote-unquote dirty side is the eastern side of the storm where the tornadoes are, the worst kind of the impacts are going to be. Like I said, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Jackson, New Roads here. Anybody in these areas here, all around the landfall area, you're going to get hit. It's not going to wobble anywhere else. Biloxi, Mississippi, you guys are not in the cone, and I want to kind of talk about this one more time. This storm is so big. It's so massive as far as the outer bands are going to be. We're going to have tornado warnings probably issued as far as potentially maybe Tallahassee. These outer bands are going to start to develop with this storm once it works closer to Louisiana through tomorrow, and we will probably have tornado warnings in Florida at some point tomorrow, as well as Mississippi and Alabama. That tornado risk is going to more than likely be, like I said, on that eastern side as that low pressure center continues to work its way to the northwest. Helene says, stop circling me, thanks. I'm not trying to, I promise. We're trying to keep you guys safe. That's the biggest thing. There's no overhyping here. There's none of this BS information. This is all legitimate from the National Hurricane Center, National Weather Service. If you guys don't know me personally, I'm a meteorology student here in Western Kentucky. I'm in school finishing my bachelor's degree to become a full-time meteorologist. I do live severe weather. I cover the tropics for all of the United States. So if you guys like what you see here, like I said, hit that follow button. We cover anything, anywhere going on in the United States, legitimately. There's going to be a lot going on, especially next week. We're going to have a lot of severe weather that starts to ramp up next week across the Central Plains, Ohio Valley, Midwest, and Southeast as well. So we're getting ready to enter that fall severe weather season. So once Francine is done and over with, we're going to have a lot of conversations next week about severe weather ramping up. We're going to start to talk about winter season. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on here as far as down the road goes. So as far as Kentucky goes, like I said, we're in Western Kentucky, so we're actually in that cone up here into Southern Illinois, Central Illinois, Eastern and Southeastern Missouri and Western Kentucky here. This is going to be lesser impacts. You'll see more rain over here in Missouri and Illinois, but if you're over here on the eastern side, like for instance, Tennessee, Kentucky, we could see a couple isolated tornadoes, I think, on Friday and Saturday, especially if this still has a little bit of spin with it once it goes northeast. So, and then the rainfall totals as well will be a bigger conversation with this. What does my cat want? Houston, lesser impacts. If anything, you could see some tropical storm force winds. You guys are outside of that tropical storm force watch. And then we'll also have a little bit of rainfall. But if you're on the western side of the cone, I'm not too concerned about it. I do think you'll have a little bit of impacts, but nothing bizarrely crazy. Mobile, Alabama, you guys are in tropical storm force watches. Those will be upgraded to tropical storm warnings later on tonight. Victoria, thank you for the 2 roses. I appreciate it. Those will be upgraded to warnings tonight because it's 24 hours before the official landfall. Gulfport, Hattiesburg, Saraland, Mobile, Pensacola, you guys got to be watching out for isolated tornadoes. We're going to have a pretty strong tornado threat on that eastern side with those outer supercell bands that come in, where I think we'll have, you know, multiple sporadic tornado warnings at some point tomorrow. Lake Charles, believe it or not, watching this cone shift east instead of west today puts Lake Charles out of that cone, but once again, just because you're not in the cone doesn't mean you're not going to see impacts. Lake Charles could see 3 to 5 feet of storm surge, some rainfall rates of, you know, 5 to maybe 8 inches potentially in that range, maybe a little bit less than that in some areas. And then you'll see the tropical storm force winds settle in as well tomorrow, or tonight, sorry. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, guys. I do appreciate y'all for being here. Y'all are super, super, super awesome. Could it wobble back west a little bit? It could. I can't say it won't, but the odds of it wobbling back west, I don't see it happening like a big adjustment west, just because there's a trough ejection. So let me kind of explain something to you guys here. This is the bigger picture. So here is our official tropical storm, which is going to become a hurricane here soon. There is a big dip in the jet stream that's kind of set up like this, what's called a trough, right? There is this trough is working its way east as this hurricane is going northeast. And so this trough is going to boot this thing basically east-northeast, kind of help shred the shear a little bit to kind of keep this storm on a weaker side of things. If we didn't have a trough in place, we probably would have a major hurricane coming toward Louisiana, but that's the only thing that's kind of keeping this storm as well with the dry air from coming in. But basically, that trough is pushing this thing east instead of west. Hurricanes don't like wind shear. Going towards shear, like I said, is unfavorable for storms. They basically fall apart. So it's going to try and stay away from that shear as long as it can, and pushing it east is what it's basically doing. So if that trough wasn't in place, we probably would have that cone back to the west a little bit, but I don't see it wobbling back now. Yep, I have Abraham. I think next week's going to be super, super busy with severe weather. There's a couple trough ejections that are going to be coming in next week. We're going to have one on Thursday and Friday of this week that's up in the northern plains, and then we're going to have a big one next week. So I'm really getting ready for fall severe weather season. It's going to get really, really hectic, especially after next week is over with. So once again, for all my people that are joining in here, guys, we got about 400 of you guys almost here on TikTok. I appreciate it. Hit that follow button if you guys haven't here. We're going to be live streaming this all day today, and we're going to be on at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, Central Time. And we are going to be on all day long covering this, giving you guys watches, warnings, anything that's going on. If you guys have pictures, you guys can send them into my Facebook. It's linked in my bio and my socials. Make sure to do that if you guys get any of those observations in. But we are sitting at still tropical storm status here, 65 mile an hour winds, pressure at 988. This is expected to become a hurricane by later on this afternoon. When is that going to actually happen? We'll have to wait and see here. It's just kind of one of those things where the next advisory is going to be at 5 p.m. Central Time. Sorry, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Central Time. So here in about 3.5 hours, 2.5 hours. It's every 3 hours we get an update. So we'll have to wait and see, like I said, what this is going to do as far as that goes. Yes, the tornado threat will be in western Tennessee. I think if anybody sees any type of tornadoes inland, this is the area right here that would see that kind of bigger tornado threat as of right now. I wouldn't go that far west. I drew that circle too big. Bigger tornado threat's going to be along this area right here, more than likely, as the storm works east. If you guys have personal questions as well about locations, you guys can message me personally as well. I'll try to answer those as well. I've got my phone here so I can type to people if they need anything. Like I said as well, for anybody that's in the stream, if you guys want to join our weather team, there is an application link in my bio. It takes you to my website. You guys can also check out the Mesomat merch. There's about 1 million things on there. Go buy you some merch. If you're a first-time person, you get a 10% discount off on the merch as well. So make sure you guys go look at that. Or it's like a $10 off your first order for $25 spent, something like that. But make sure you guys go do that and then join our weather team, guys. We want more mods for streams. We need storm chasers. We need people that are willing to want to learn and help save lives. Feel free to fill that out and put that application in. I do appreciate you guys for being in here. Keep tapping that screen as well. All right. So like I said, tropical storm force winds are expected to move into the Louisiana area tonight around 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Hurricane force winds will settle in tomorrow afternoon once landfall officially initiates. So, like I said, this is satellite imagery right now. Still watching western side of convection really get going here. There was a lot of dry air. This was originally, like I said, supposed to become a hurricane last night. A lot of dry air off the coast of Mexico kind of helped rip this thing apart a little bit, and so it's re-intensifying and trying to get itself back together again. It's now moving east-northeast toward the state of Louisiana. This, like I said, is expected to become a hurricane here very, very soon. We're just going to have to wait for the hurricane hunters to go in there as well. I do think everybody in Louisiana is going to see impacts from this clearly. So whether you're on the eastern side of this, the western side of this, the northern side of this, Shreveport, you're not in the cone, you're well west of the cone, but you're going to see some rain from this. So everybody will probably see something. Now, like I said, we do actually have a marginal risk for tornadoes tonight in this green shaded area. This is a 2% chance of seeing a tornado tonight after midnight. So this will be between midnight and 6 a.m. specifically stated by the Storm Prediction Center. We'll see that chance here as well. Texas coastline people, if you guys see anything here along Texas, it's going to be a little bit of these outer bands coming in. We actually had a random tornado warning that was issued around 8 o'clock this morning around the Brownsville area, Reynosa area. That did not produce a tornado on the ground, but it did produce a warning because there was a little bit of circulation with it. But basically, the coastline of Texas got some tropical storm watches still in effect up here for Galveston, but they did drop the other ones. You'll just see some rainfall outside of that. Amber, I'll get you back here in just a little bit. For all my people that are messaging me, I'll check those here in just a few minutes. Let me see. Hold on a second. Okay, I had a voicemail from my school. I'll look at it later. Other than that, guys, I do appreciate y'all for being here. I do have a question for you guys in the chat really, really quickly. Who's all going to be here tomorrow? Because tomorrow is going to be probably an 18-hour live stream. I'm just curious who's all going to be in here tomorrow. Can we set up a poll? Babe Early, can somebody set up a poll? I don't know if you guys can still. I love you guys. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all are so freaking sweet. Tomorrow will be probably one of the longest live streams I've done in a while. We did barrel coverage when Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Texas and Louisiana, and I was so sleep deprived, guys, but shoot. This is probably, I'm not excited that we're getting a storm in Louisiana, but I'm very happy that this storm is actually making landfall during the daytime and not overnight between midnight and 6 a.m. because it makes it very, very hard to cover overnight land storms. I get super, super lightheaded a lot of times when I stay up past 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and I get headaches and I can't focus 100%. So I'm glad that this is happening during the daytime to where I can actually be 100% full for you guys. But like I said, if you guys have storm reports, pictures, any of that, send that into my Facebook, or there's other socials. You guys can Instagram, Snap, any of that stuff. It's all linked in my bio. You guys can send those into me as well. But other than that, we're just going to kind of sit here. We're going to leave the satellite up here. I'll answer questions about locations here. Thank you for the ice cream, Jessica. I appreciate it. You guys are freaking awesome. You guys are so awesome. Like I said, if you guys are new to the stream, to just watching me, I'm a meteorology student here in Kentucky. I'm legit. I try to be accurate. We're here to save people's lives. We don't do any overhyping here. I can promise y'all that. I've been live streaming severe weather, tropics, anything weather related for about 2 years on this app. I've been doing weather coverage for Facebook and all that stuff for about 10 years. So I'm only 23 years old here in the state of Kentucky. So I've been doing this for quite some time. It's nothing new for me. Also, guys, watch my videos daily as well. I do post daily weather forecasts every day. I make them about 10 minutes long each day, talking about the overall pattern across the United States, anything going on, severe weather, stuff like that. So if you guys like detailed weather breakdowns, I do make my own forecast every single day. So that's another really, really cool thing that I like to do. Yeah, Houston's going to get rain. I think anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. I'm not too concerned about Houston. I'm really more concerned about the Louisiana, Mississippi area. Those areas could see anywhere from 5+ inches of rain, maybe to a foot potentially in some localized spots. But it's going to be more of a storm surge impact than anything else. All right. Lafayette, you guys are going to be on the western side of the cone now, but you're going to see anywhere from 5 to 8 inches of rainfall. And then you'll have the chance for a couple tornadoes, the hurricane force winds, and then the storm surge as well, potentially on the coastal areas. That'll be the biggest threat here. Wind totals, guys. I can't really do the estimate on what your wind speeds are going to be. Right now, this is going to be making landfall as a Cat 1 at roughly 90 miles an hour. So you could see hurricane force winds up to 90. Maximum wind gusts would be 100 to 105 potentially. So we're going to have a pretty big tornado threat with this, guys. It's going to be big. The tornado parameters are very, very much vague right now. They're very, very much intense as far as that eastern eye wall goes. So like I said, if you guys remember watching coverage for Hurricane Beryl back in July, I believe, we had over 75 tornado warnings issued within a 12-hour period in the state of Louisiana. It was a record-breaking day for Louisiana National Weather Service out of Shreveport. That was just a bizarre day. I've never seen that many tornado warnings issued within one day in a state. I don't think we're looking at anything like that, but we will have warnings. Just because of the fact that there is a lot of counterclockwise spin from the southwest to the northeast. So that will kind of help with that wind direction change with height, but I think we'll see a couple. What does concern me a little bit is what's going to happen once this goes up into the Ohio Valley, because the last time we had a remnants of a storm up here in Kentucky, we had an EF3 tornado spawned in the Mount Vernon, Indiana area, and it caused some pretty extensive damage, and that was only 40 minutes up the road from us here. So, and that was remnants of a storm, not like anything crazy, just remnants, a remnant low. So these can cause some issues. Let me see these questions here in the chats. Let's see. Yeah, so the green highlighted portion here, this is a marginal risk for severe weather. This is over the Louisiana coastline right now, just south of New Orleans and the Morgan City area. This is basically saying if you're in this green shaded area right here, Fort Sulphur, Golden Meadow, Grand Isle, this is a 2% chance of a tornado happening in anybody's area here in that green shaded area tonight after midnight. And then tomorrow we actually have an increased tornado risk as well, and I actually need to look at some models on that. This is the Storm Prediction Center's tornado risk for tomorrow. We actually have a 5% and a 2%. So we have a level 2 out of 5 risk for tornadoes in New Orleans, Mobile, Alabama. You guys can see, like I said, that tornado risk goes as far as almost Tallahassee. So the center of circulation is going to be over here in Louisiana, but we're going to see tornadoes as far as Florida. That's what I was getting at earlier, is the wind field and the wind profiles are veered so far, and elongated photographs are so favorable for spin. Any storm that does come off the ocean is going to have a chance to produce a waterspout / tornado. These are brief spin-ups. They don't last too long, but they can produce extensive damage tornadoes. We had an EF3 tornado spawned when Debbie went through North Carolina a couple weeks ago, and then we had an EF3 in Mount Vernon, Indiana, with remnants up here in Ohio and Kentucky and Illinois and Indiana when Beryl came through. So we got to watch those low-top supercells. They're very, very favorable for the profiles that we have for the wind profiles for tornadoes. I would not be surprised if this actually got upgraded to enhance with a 10% tornado risk. It's somewhere around the Mississippi, Alabama coastline. But if you're in Mobile, if you're in New Orleans, you are on that dirty side, and that is going to produce the potential for tornadoes. It happens every single time. I'll show the photographs here in a minute. I'll find some here in just a second. But that's what we're looking at. And then we're also going to get, once the day 3 forecast updates, we have another marginal risk for severe weather, and this is going to be a big 2% tornado risk on Thursday, this brown shaded area right here that goes from Mobile all the way up to almost to the Tennessee line here for a 2% chance of tornadoes. So the center of circulation on Thursday will be up here in Arkansas, but the tornado risk is to the east of it, where those outer bands are still going to be coming in. And then by Friday, we'll probably have a tornado risk somewhere in Kentucky, Illinois, and northern Tennessee once that does get officially issued. We'll just kind of wait and see on what they say on that end of things. Let's see if we've got any updates on totals here. Once again, this is going to be that storm surge map. Pick out where you're at on the map here. If you're on the coastal areas, Galveston Bay, 1 to 3 feet, 2 to 4 feet from High Island to Sabine Pass. We've got the Rockefeller Wildlife Refuge in that 5 to 10 feet storm surge area. They actually had a tornado confirmed a couple days ago there as well. It was random with that Invest area that we had. And then we've got Vermilion Bay, 5 to 10 feet. And then all the way back here into New Orleans in the Mississippi, Alabama, Florida Panhandle or line, we've got 3 to 5 feet, 2 to 4 feet of storm surge. So it doesn't take a lot of storm surge to cause issues. Here's your flood outlook. We have a level 3, level 2, and level 1 risk for flash flooding. Anybody in the green shaded area is level 1 risk for flash flooding. Yellow is level 2, and then we're really focused on that moderate risk. I would not be shocked if we got a high risk for flooding at some point in this before this starts tomorrow. But we'll just kind of watch it and see. And these are your updated rainfall totals. 6 to 12 inches of rain. Sorry, not 6 to 12. 6 to 8 inches of rain in the Lafayette area. Lake Charles are now in the 2 to 4 inch range. New Orleans, you're in the 6 to 8 inch range. So those yellows and those orange colors are going to be more of a concern as far as the heavy rain goes. So landfall is expected tomorrow night between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central Time. Tropical storm force winds start tonight. So if you're in Louisiana, you are going to start to see those tropical storm force wind gusts tonight after 8 p.m. That is going to be the ultimate timing of this. And like I said, you know, that's going to actually, they pushed it back a little bit. So it's now Wednesday at 2 a.m. I thought it was 8 p.m. So Tuesday morning around Wednesday morning around 2 a.m. Sorry, guys. So that's going to be where we see that. And this goes as far as almost the Tennessee line. So we're going to see tropical storm force winds as far as Arkansas and Tennessee. Trying to answer as many questions as I can for you guys. We're going to be on, like I said, today and all day tomorrow. So I'm trying not to lose my voice before tomorrow gets here. Because tomorrow we're going to be calling out tornado warnings like crazy. I know we are. Crowley, just west of Lafayette. I believe you guys are outside the cone. Yeah, so you're right outside of it there. You're still going to see some heavy rainfall. Anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of rainfall could fall. You'll have maybe some tropical, not maybe, you will have tropical storm force winds. Potentially, question mark, a hurricane force wind gust. I still think that's going to be just east of you guys. But that cone, like I said, since it shifted east, we're more favorable for just wind and some rain. So I'm telling you guys, the tornado threat tomorrow. Let's walk through this one more time here. Let's look at this. Let's go to the NAM model because the HUR is not done updating yet. This is just kind of an idea on what the model's spitting out for rain precip. Like I said, these outer bands still staying off the coast of Texas for right now with the time being. These are going to continue to work their way east. You can really see, watch this, guys. This is where I think, and we talked about this at the beginning of the stream, if everything goes perfectly right for this hurricane, once this develops into a hurricane by tonight, if everything goes absolutely perfect, we could still hit Category 2 hurricane status by tomorrow midday before this makes landfall. And the models are really picking up on that eye wall really happening. We could go through an eye wall replacement cycle tonight potentially, but right around 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, this is at 10 a.m., eye wall is getting closer and closer and closer to the Louisiana coastline, and then this thing really gets itself together right last minute. So this is really making me think that shear is not going to have any problem with this system, or the system's not going to have any problem with the shear, and this is going to re-intensify all the way up to landfall. There's also the chance that it doesn't do that, but these models have been pretty dang consistent with the intensification. So I do think, guys, like I said, the National Hurricane Center has not... They took the Category 2 hurricane status away and said now it's going to make landfall as just a 1 because of how long this has taken to become a hurricane. I still think we could hit Cat 2 status at some point tomorrow, and that's going to be if everything goes perfectly, I mean, absolute perfect. I think there's still a very, very slim chance. I would not be surprised at some point if it does hit Cat 2 status. So we'll probably see that change, but this is going to be that eye wall. This is going to be the main concern. If you are anywhere within the vicinity of this eye wall by tomorrow afternoon, this is at 3 p.m., this is where your hurricane force wind gusts are going to be at. It's going to be in that eye wall. This is going to be where that center is. You guys know how the center works, but the eye wall extends out to Crowley, kind of west eastern side of Lake Charles here, and then goes all the way down here as well toward the Golden Meadow area. We're going to kind of watch this wobble, but it looks to be Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Roads, Interstate 10, Interstate 55 and 49 are going to get just absolutely slammed. This is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So this is just something, like I said, that we're going to have to watch. But then this takes off. And here's, like I said, this is the dirty side right here. Isolated tornado risk will be possible. New Orleans, Gulfport, Mobile, Pensacola, Panama. This is something we're really, really going to have to watch. And then, you know, as this storm continues north, we're still seeing these isolated feeder bands that are going to work their way through Alabama and Georgia and Mississippi on Thursday and Friday. And this is as far, you know, east as it goes. This goes all the way up into... the Ohio Valley by Thursday, 7 p.m. So by Thursday at dinner time, we've already got this storm out of Louisiana and Arkansas, which is super, super good news to have. So it's not going to be you know, a crazy scenario here where we've got hurricane force winds for hours and hours and hours and hours. It would be for about a 4 to 6 hour period tomorrow afternoon. So I do want to show you guys another thing here, like I said, and that's going to be that significant tornado risk. These are your tornado parameters. So the brighter colors you have, the better chance you have of seeing those higher chances for tornadoes. And you can see as this storm intensifies tomorrow, look at these brighter colors, guys. These are insanely high tornado parameters. And that's going to be very favorable on that eastern side here. So these will be working their way here into New Orleans, Port Sulphur. I mean, this is at 7 o'clock tomorrow. We are going to have multiple tornado warnings issued at a lot of points tomorrow. So just be ready for the craziness, guys. It's going to get very hectic, and this will work its way in east. This is around midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning now. Still watching that eastern side. So this is where you always hear meteorologists say the eastern side of the storm is the most favorable for everything, you know, kind of bad to happen, tornado-wise, and just everything else that comes with it. So that's going to be those higher tornado concentration parameters, and then this will work its way east, and then we've got, you know, up into the, you know, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee area. So got a lot to still figure out here, guys, as far as this goes. But this is our storm. Believe it or not, this is it right here. So very much symmetrical as far as the reflectivity goes. So I would not be surprised, like I said, when we get the 4 o'clock Central Time advisory in, if this is a hurricane. I think it's going to be very close. I'm trying not to run myself into the ground, guys, so bear with me here. Let me look at CSU real quick. I'm very curious to see if they've done anything. So CSU had issued a 5% 2 risk for today and then tomorrow. So yeah, that's the big thing. So CSU for tomorrow has a 10% tornado risk over. These are just models that Colorado State University puts out that I look at that kind of actually are pretty relatively decent. These just kind of show where that higher tornado percentage could be at. So 10% over eastern New Orleans and into Mississippi and Mobile, Alabama. So this is just something we have to watch as far as that goes. Let's go back to the recon aircraft here and see what they're doing. Yeah, severe weather next week will be a thing as well. I can talk about that here in a second if you guys really want me to. We still have hurricane hunters in there? Okay, they are still in there. So we're going to get another pressure reading here in just a second on this. I want to see what this is. Georgia, you'll have some outer bands that could potentially swing in there. I think it'll be like isolated showers. We'll just kind of watch it and see. I'm not too concerned about it. Outer bands are, so you have the core of your storm, and then you have like these once the storm expands out, you have those isolated cells that produce your tornadoes. We'll talk more about it here again in just a second, but they basically, it's your biggest tornado threat. It's the first line of defense of the storm that's coming through, basically. So, like, let's go back to the map here. So, let's pull up, let me go back to satellite imagery here. So, this is the center of your storm. These out here are like your outer bands. Those clouds that spin, that come in first when you see the storm coming in. If you're at the beach, for instance, and you're watching this come in, which you shouldn't be, but if you're at the beach watching this when you come in, you'll see those outer cloud tops in. Those are what's quote-unquote called outer bands. Yeah, it's still encountering a lot of dry air right now, so I'm really wondering when it's going to hit that point when it is going to go. It's still, I was reading a thing too that said that the dry air off the coast of Mexico is still having some pretty big impacts on it. So I think once it moves east tonight, it should start to kind of get itself together. We'll just have to see what it does. I'm completely content with just a tropical storm if that happens. The west side of the storm is not going to be really too crazy. You'll see some wind and some heavy rain and some storm surge, especially in Louisiana. But I'm not expecting anything like crazy off the charts wild. All right. If you guys got any more questions, I'll try and answer them here. We've already been on here for an hour, which is wild. Let me look what the Euro do. I'm gonna look at the long range models for just a second, guys. I'm going to be on for majority of the night tonight, just talking, reiterating, and answering people's questions. And then tomorrow we'll be on all day long. Looks to be that we could get potentially a tropical system to develop on Monday off the coast of... That's interesting. Did the National Hurricane Center issue another... We need to watch over here. We need to watch over here for next week, early next week. We might get a tropical system that develops off the coast of Florida next week and then goes into the Carolinas. That's new. I haven't... Maybe that's not new. Right there. That's been showing for a couple days now. So it looks like to be that these remnants, it's like they developed their own low. And then now you get a 995 tropical storm going into the Carolinas next Tuesday. There's no way. That's 7 days from now. That's what I thought. I thought I was seeing it on the models over the last couple days, but I wasn't paying attention to it. They've got a tropical storm on the Euro and the GFS slamming North Carolina by next Tuesday. What did the GFS do it too? Yeah, that's what I thought. I know it's... I think I have seen it. I just haven't been paying attention to it. Yep, the GFS has it too, but a little bit weaker. There's our severe weather setup for next week, guys, right there. 985 low over the Rockies and in the northern Dakotas there. Boy, are we going to have severe weather next week to deal with. Got a couple areas of severe weather. Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri going to get whacked next weekend, potentially for a pretty big, significant severe weather threat. Maya, why you got to give spicy storms to the Carolinas? Why you got to do that? Okay. Well, that's interesting to know, guys. Makes next week more interesting. Okay, let's go back to the recon here and see what we're looking at. Oh, we got a pressure drop, 987, so it's only 1 millibar. We got a pressure drop of 987 now on the recon that just came in. So we had 989, 989, 989, 987. So pressure is dropping again on that run. Let me go back to that. Yep, pressure is dropping, 989, 999, 997. They're still getting, you know, pretty significant winds there on that eastern side. So when pressure drops, guys, wind speed goes up. So when we're seeing the millibars, which is the 989 there, and then 987, that pressure is dropping, meaning the wind speed is going up. So when pressure, that's basically what that means. Okay. Yeah, so it only dropped 1 millibar. It's not super significant, but I do think the possibility, if this thing gets itself together before tonight gets here, I think the possibility of this going into a Cat 2 status is still on the table. I think it's a little bit smaller than what it could have been if this would have been a hurricane this morning. This still is not officially a hurricane yet. It's still a tropical storm, so we'll have to see. Oh boy, am I so excited for next week. All right, guys. Do we got any weather questions? Anything you guys want to know? We're just answering questions, hanging out, getting ready for this. If you guys got questions, anything weather related, just random on the topic of this, feel free to ask them. Today would be the day to do that. Okay. Let's see here. How's school going so far? School's going good. Doing good. I got all my schoolwork caught up today. That way I could be able to be on here with you guys. Let me check messages here. Oh. Yeah, it'll be gone from Gulfport on Friday. Yep. No, Aiden. Let me double check on that. Let me actually look at that real quick and see if we do have anything. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, they've got it starting on day 8. You got a marginal risk from like Texas all the way up to the Dakotas. That would be on day 8. It's starting to show it slowly, very slowly. They've almost got it at a slight risk potential. They've got ours in a 2% tornado risk on the day 3 though, so I'm interested to see if it's going to shift north in our favor. I want to see what day 3 does when day 3 updates, because day 3 right now they've got us in a general thunderstorm here in Kentucky, but I wonder if they're going to push that 2% all the way up. Okay, guys, we got about 2 hours until the next advisory. We'll leave this up here for a minute. I'm going to answer some text message questions. If you guys will tap the screen for me, please, real quick. Sorry, I'll hold on one second. Hope you guys are doing well today, by the way. Good to see you in here, Bree. Okay. Answer one more message here, guys. Trying to get some personal questions answered as well. Ah. Okay. 7:30 tonight, Lanny, should be okay. You might see some rain start to bring it in. Oh, that's awesome, Maya. That's freaking awesome to hear that. I love that. Lenny, for you though, 7:30. Let me just look at the radar instead of just guesstimating here. Let me just do that. Yeah, you'll see outer bands start to come in the next couple hours here in that area. You'll see rain, Laney, as of right now. See, the her and the Nam are just really looking impressive tomorrow morning. So I'm still waiting to see what this is gonna do. We'll just have to play the waiting game with this. Let me look at radar out of this area. We do got the rain coming in, so we'll have to watch. up, Nicole? Good to see you in here. Good to see you guys in here. Very, very nice spin with this storm. Yep, so they did have a little bit of pressure drop on this too. So I'm interested to see what the 4 o'clock's going to be. Thank you guys for the 16,000 likes if you're on TikTok. I appreciate it. Georgia would just see some rain. There still is, like I said, a little bit of dry air that it's coming into this. You can kind of see where it's kind of falling apart, but I want to see how this new convection that's kind of blowing up around the center here goes. Because like I said, it's taking a northeasterly track now. Yep, Nicole, it's going straight for Louisiana. Jackson, Mississippi, you'll have a chance for a couple tornadoes on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Heavy rainfall anywhere from 3 to 5 inches, and tropical storm force winds can't be ruled out. Galveston's not going to be too bad. If anything, 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, which is kind of getting ready to on-go, and then a little bit of rainfall. Okay. Let's see here. We've got Baton Rouge. You guys are in the landfall area. I'll pull this cone back up here. Yeah, Baton Rouge, you're in the landfall area. Expecting hurricane force winds to settle in tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon when this comes in. Tropical storm force winds start tonight, as well as a couple tornadoes and then heavy rainfall, 6 to 10 inches potentially. Okay. Good to see you in here, Meg. Thank you guys for all the mods in here. Safety team, care team. I appreciate y'all in all 3 areas on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. You guys are crushing it. Go back and look at. Go look at the recon. Do we have anything coming in yet? Are they doing another fly through on this again? Trying to check messages for you guys. Sorry. Trying to make sure I get everything done. They'll be in there all day. Okay, that sounds about right. I'm excited to see the next run, though, through. Okay. Alright, Lake Charles get hit. Lake Charles will see some wind, some tropical storm force winds, a little bit of storm surge, and then the chance for 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. It's really shifted in favor of eastern Louisiana now, more than anything else. We're really going to be looking at the New Orleans area, I think, than anything. Katie, thank you for the heart me. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, that's cool, Maya. That's awesome. Do the increased storm surge in Lake Pontchartrain? I believe it is 5 to 7. Yeah, 5 to 7, I think. All right, we are starting to get more convection. So the center of circulation is right here. Still seeing, like I said, a little bit of dry air here kind of filing into this, which is helping this kind of stay below Cat 1 status. Oh, okay, Maya, that's freaking awesome. Heck yeah. Maya, you're famous. But look at the, we're getting a pretty big blow up of convection here, and this is where we're starting to see possibly that eye wall really get defined here, maybe. So, like I said, just watching satellite is one of the coolest things to look at. Okay. I hope everybody's having a good day today. For the 160 of you guys in here, what's everybody up to? What's everybody going on? I don't know. Trying to have a conversation with you guys as well. Trying to get to know some of you guys in here. Hope you guys are all doing well. Where is it making landfall? Landfall is going to be around the Morgan City area, potentially here. We'll just kind of see. All right, we got a new Hurricane Hunter flight that is en route now, so that's exciting. We're going to have another plane in there here soon. All right, so they did get a pressure reading of 987. Oh, Ellie, that's not fun at all. Yeah, I know it is, Rush. I know it is. We've been watching it. Been watching it since overnight last night. It's destroying it. I'm thinking overnight tonight it's gonna go up a little bit. I think it will. It's gonna be further away from Mexico. The further this gets away from Mexico, the better chance of this has of staying away from that dry air. So we'll just have to see what it does. I'm completely fine with just a tropical storm making landfall. That makes things a little bit better. Yes, Katie, it is. Yes, yes. Could it bump west? There's always a potential, but I don't see that happening. I think we're in pretty good confidence and agreement that it's going to be on that stay east of where it's at right now. Or that's going to be on the track that it's at right now. Yep, east. Yep, it's gonna stay east. Guys, I always get hungry on live stream, and I don't know why I do. We've been on here for about an hour and a half, and I feel like I haven't eaten all today. Oh, no, I do too. I think we're going to get a 10% tomorrow rush. It brings me flashbacks to the Louisiana situation with Barrel. It really does, except it's going to be more in Mississippi. Mississippi and Alabama Gulfport area. They got these Doshgarn remnants coming up here into Kentucky on Friday, and it makes me nervous because we had an E up 3 tornado up the road from us last time with remnants. Oh, Bree, I've got a bunch of stuff. We're good. Nope, we're good. Alright, I'm gonna watch the her run and see what it says on the 18Z tonight. Yeah, no, that's what I saw that too. It's gonna be very, very weak, but it still just makes me nervous just because it's limited. Over here and watch this new run come in. Big old explosion of convection on the northern side of the circulation there. Very much, very, very much rush. I really hope we don't have 75 tornado warnings in the state of Louisiana tomorrow like we did with Barrel. That was absolutely insane. There was like 15 warnings per hour. I literally was going crazy with it. It was absolutely insane. They said the Shreveport, Louisiana issued the most warnings they've ever issued in a day period. So, we'll see, guys. All right, y'all. How about you think it'll be for New Orleans? New Orleans is going to be rough. Tropical storm force winds, possibly a hurricane wind gust or two. You'll have the tornado risk as well through much of tomorrow and into Thursday early morning. Yeah, me too, Maya. That was my overlay system was going crazy, dude. It was like every 5 minutes there was a new tornado warning. Heavy rain, 3 to 5, maybe 8 inches on the higher amount there. And then that would be it there in New Orleans. So we'll really get some fine tune this forecast tomorrow as this comes inland, I think, or tonight at least. What else you guys got for me in the chat? Keep tapping that screen, guys. We are at 19,000 likes. I really appreciate you guys. I'm just trying not to... I know we kind of went ham crazy and everything when we got on stream. I'm just trying not to waste my voice because we're going to be on here all day tomorrow. So I'm trying to just take breaks and answer questions and then also look at new data coming in and just kind of sit here with you guys and walk you guys through this. I don't want to waste all my energy today and be dead to the world tomorrow. Because we're going to be on here all day tomorrow. Okay, babe, if you want to, that's fine. Babe, if you want to do me a huge favor and heat up my leftover chicken nuggets in the fridge, that would be so awesome. But you don't have to if you don't. There's like 6 in the box, I think, left over. Cynthia, I think, what was that you sent? Thank you for the gift, I appreciate it. Dude, I need to get some dino nutties. That would be awesome. I might get a bag when we go shopping on Friday. Y'all really will get to see what I eat throughout the day tomorrow on stream. I will be eating on stream tomorrow, guys, so just bear with that, please. Yeah, I'm really watching this blow up of convection. It just explodes. We'll get a new hurricane update in about an hour and 55 minutes. We got new Hurricane Hunter planes that are en route. Why is it doing that? There we go, it's back. I was like, what the heck? Thank you. You're so kind. Hazel! Y'all can see Hazel and Roro. There's Hazel and Ro. There's the Hazels! She wants the nuggets. Oh my gosh, those are hot. Yeah, I cooked them. Y'all say hi to Hazel and Roro. Oh. Hi. You're just gonna stare at my food like you want it? Oh, cutie patooties. I like that I don't have to like push any buttons or any of that. Yes, Mama Jen, it is. Yes, and that's Roro. That is the lovely one of the kiddos. Hey. Hi. Say hi back. Hazel? Get at my chicken nuggets. That's what you want. Oh, she's staring at you. Brought the food in with the baby. That was probably the worst idea you could do. Told you. Oh, man. Give her a nugget. They're hot. Ro cooked them too hot. He literally cooked them too hot, guys. There you go. It's hot. Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate it there, Kay. Bye. Hey, Hazel, we feeling it today? It is wild. It's gonna be wild eventually. So that's gonna be interesting right there. You can see the dry air intrusion, but there's still convection ongoing on the southwestern side of it there, so this could close off and finally do what it's supposed to do. Because all the dry air that's coming into this is off the coast of Mexico, so once it goes northeast, it should start to do its thing. That's wild. Yeah.
Hazel is...
Yep. And then there's this thing. She's literally purring on top of my head. She's licking my ear. She was.
Yes.
Yep. Why are you purring like a blender on top of my head? You guys get to watch the Hazel and Anita show, or not Anita, but Jenny Purr. This is, guys, this is Jenny Purr. This is Jenny Purr, our newest addition to the family. Now go fly. Now you're like reaching over to grab her. Bye. Hazel, you bring her in here when I'm trying to eat nuggets. Babe. That's wild. Sorry, y'all, we're having an intermission here. We've been on for almost 2 hours already, so. Y'all get to meet the family, part of it.
Hi, Maya. Hazel, do you want to say hi? Hey.
Hi? Oh yeah, guys, go buy you some merch. Here's the Mesomat cup. It's a tumbler. It's all on my website if you guys want to go get you some. They're great Christmas presents.
If it's your first time on there, you get 10% off.
$10 off.
$10, 10%.
$10 off your
First order.
I think it's gonna close up. Because that's where your eye's gonna be up. We're gonna lose the satellite imagery in an hour. It's really going. If this convection can wrap around and fill in the hole here and the eye pop out, we'll have a hurricane. It'll be, I think it'll get upgraded to 70 on the next advisory, and then by 8 o'clock tonight, 7 o'clock advisory, it'll be what it's forecasted to be. She's usually very chill. She loves it. We can look it up. Oh.
Yeah, y'all are on the coast.
Yeah, it's just rain. They dropped the watches though. They dropped the tropical storm watches. It's just for Galveston. Yeah. That blow up of convection. Oh my goodness.
It's a tropical storm, guys.
It's supposed to be a hurricane by tonight. Plan. What's up, Buttercup? We like the way it looks. Thank you guys for the follows. I appreciate it. Got 175 of you guys in here. This is part of the family.
It's not a Cat 1. It's not a Cat 1 yet.
Yep, it's not a Category 1 hurricane yet, guys. It's forecasted to be here soon.
It's just a tropical storm.
But this is Roro. Here's Hazel. This is part of the family. The lovely future wife and beautiful child. Yeah, Hazel. Say hi. Say hi. Really, you do it all the time, but you ain't gonna say it when I'm. Say hi. Oh. It wasn't. Let me get it now. We're not gonna get any feedback on it.
We're gonna be watching.
Yeah, we are gonna have to watch it. Soup, miso soup. What? She got the sauce. What? Oh, that's sweet. What's up, Jen Chases Storms? How are ya? She's a storm chaser. Ow. What is this child doing? We're gonna have a pretty big severe weather event next week in the Central Plains and Northern Plains, Jen, with a pretty big trough ejection coming through. I don't know if you chase there or not, but that's just kind of something to look forward to. Multiple of them next week, potentially. Honey mustard. Really like eating. It doesn't move. Like we're really just eating.
Get rid of it.
Hazel's just eating honey mustard. No, Jen, I'm in West. Well, we're in the cone. We're in Western Kentucky, but now we're just covering it.
Then it was 2. I guess.
You had 2 of them yesterday. I'll go buy more.
Hey. 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 What are you doing? Yeah. Box. Package. Package. At front.
Get a call. Oh, it's the weather group. I was like, what the heck? Should be. Alright, I'm gonna get back into talking here. Okay, guys. Alright, we're back here. Keep tapping that screen, guys. We're at 26,000 likes. I appreciate y'all. My live might be a little bit wonky here and there, y'all. The Wi-Fi back here is a little bit iffy. So, like I said, guys, watching the satellite here, look at the middle of your screen. This is actually, you know, probably the most impressive blow-up of convection I've seen in quite some time. Very, very big blow-up of convection here. So we're going to see if this actually, in fact, holds together or if dry air kind of intrudes on this again. That's going to be the biggest concept of this. Is watching this kind of develop at this point. We should start to get a pretty defined hurricane at some point. We also need to watch as well, guys. This is also some brand new information here. Jen, thank you for the 25 lightnings. I appreciate it. Over here in the West Pacific, we might have a potential tropical system headed toward the Baja California area. If you guys don't know what Baja California is, before that update officially comes in from this area intensifying, but that's a pretty big blow up of convection. That would definitely signal the potential for intensification possibly trying here. So let me see here. That one get finished. That one was finished. Okay, so we got a new storm coming in here soon. Go to the newest one. Okay. Yeah, we are getting some new husk stone that was set for yesterday. We'll keep an update on that. Like the new model run come. Yeah, Louisiana, your guys' soil it is. It rained a lot yesterday, so or not yesterday, but last week. So the potential for seeing more flash flooding is definitely going to be a problem, especially with more rainfall coming. This is really impressive on the satellite here. Look at those. Look at those credits. Storm. Guys, like I said, my Wi-Fi might cut in and all right, guys, hear me on the stream. I'm gonna reset the streams on all three real quick, and come back here in just a few minutes because the Wi-Fi